Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we really try to boil down complex stuff into something useful for you, your shortcut to being well-informed.
Yep, exactly. And today we are diving deep into a really fascinating book, Magic of Discovering Yourself by Dhiraj Kumar Gupta.
Right, Dhiraj Kumar Gupta. So the idea is to unpack the core ideas he presents for personal growth.
Absolutely. And Dhiraj, he's got this pretty impressive background. He's a technology leader, a principal solution architect, been in the IT game for, what, nearly 20 years?
Wow.
Yeah, at a major multinational. But he blends that tech expertise with this real passion for psychology, for helping people, really transform.
And his own story is quite something, isn't it? I mean, going from being a private tutor to working globally in IT.
Across 8 countries.
Yeah. And doing all that while, as he mentions, being more introverted. He also co-authored You Can Impact. It kind of shows self-discovery isn't just for one type of person.
No, absolutely not. And the book feels really grounded because of that. He talks about his mom's influence, learning about responsibility, handling emotions. It adds this layer of realness.
Okay, so the book itself, Magic of Discovering Yourself. What's the central promise here? It seems to be about practical growth through mindset.
That's a good way to put it. It's
Yeah.
a practical method, yeah. Cultivating the right mindset. And he really wants to clarify things like, the difference between just thinking about your self-introspection versus self-improvement
Yeah.
versus real self-awareness.
Which can get kind of fuzzy.
Totally. And he tackles some myths around self-discovery, really pushing for genuine self-awareness and what that actually brings you.
And it sounds like it's aimed at practical skills, too.
Mm-hmm.
Leadership, relationship management. He mentions self-sales.
Yeah, self-sales, which we should definitely get into. It's about understanding and presenting yourself effectively. And ultimately finding, real happiness. Lots of strategies, exercises.
Practical stuff.
Very practical. And he offers this unique metaphorical way of looking at yourself, like getting a clearer reflection.
Interesting. So let's start at the beginning then. What actually triggers this whole journey? The book kicks off with these Japanese symbols.
Mm-hmm.
Sword, jewel, and mirror.
Right. And surprisingly, he highlights the mirror as the most important. There's that emperor's quote,
The power of the mirror guides me. Something like that.
and using my sword and my jewels.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really reframes power as stemming from self-knowledge. You need to see clearly first.
It definitely makes you pause. Like, do I really know myself?
Yeah.
Dhiraj shares his own experience, right? Successful, but still overthinking, feeling something was missing.
Yeah, that feeling is so relatable, I think. Accomplishment doesn't always equal fulfillment. And his realization, everything starts with me and my past. That's key. It all builds on our internal world.
Okay, so let's define terms a bit. When Dhiraj talks about self-discovery in the book, what's the core meaning?
He defines it as this ongoing process. It's about really gaining a deep understanding of your core values, your beliefs, your strengths. Yeah, but also your weaknesses, what motivates you.
So constantly examining your patterns, thoughts, feelings, actions.
Exactly. Looking at why you do what you do based on your past, your values. It's not static.
It's a journey, not a destination.
Precisely. And he argues this continuous exploration is what leads to a more authentic life and genuine happiness.
And self-awareness fits into this how. It's crucial, he says.
Self-awareness is more about the present moment. It's the ability to just notice your thoughts, emotions, behaviors as they happen, but without judging them.
Just observing.
Just observing, yeah. Non-evaluative observation. This helps you see those patterns and triggers more clearly, understand your motivations, and navigate things better.
The book brings in some Harvard research here, splitting self-awareness into two types.
Yes, internal and external. Internal self-awareness is, well, looking inward. Understanding your values, passions, aspirations, how you fit your environment, your reactions, thoughts, feelings, strengths, weaknesses, and how all that impacts others.
And that internal clarity has real benefits.
Oh, definitely. The research links higher internal self-awareness to better job satisfaction, better relationships, more sense of control, happiness.
And less anxiety, stress, depression.
Right. Lower levels of those.
Okay, then what's external self-awareness?
That's about understanding how other people see you. Regarding those same things, your values, strengths, how you come across.
Ah, okay. How you're perceived.
Exactly. And people high in this tend to be more empathetic, better at seeing other perspectives. Good leaders often have this, they understand how their team sees them, which builds better relationships.
And here's the kicker from the research found these two, internal and external, are basically unrelated.
Isn't that wild? Yeah, largely unrelated. You'd think knowing yourself well internally means you know how you come across externally, but nope, not necessarily.
So you really need both perspectives. You can't just assume.
Exactly. You need to actively seek feedback, be open to how others see you to get the full picture.
So if they can be disconnected, how do you handle, like, conflicts when your internal view clashes with external feedback?
Dhiraj really stresses finding a balance. Don't lean too heavily one way or the other. You need both for a complete view.
And mindful reflection is the tool here.
Yeah, that's key. It means stepping back, observing your thoughts and feelings about the conflict without immediate judgment. Like, okay, why does this feedback bother me? Is it past stuff, social pressure, and inconsistency in my own beliefs?
Exploring the roots without attacking yourself.
Precisely. Creating space for understanding. And he mentions interviews with highly self-aware people.
They actively work on this balance.
Seems so. They consciously try to reconcile their self-perception with external views. They value that feedback because they know their own view isn't the whole story. It contributes to their success and fulfillment.
Okay, this next bit might challenge some people. Introspection versus self-awareness.
Yeah.
We usually think introspection is how you become self-aware.
Right. That's the common idea.
Mm-hmm.
But Dhiraj points to research suggesting that people who introspect a lot can actually be less self-aware.
Less. How's that work?
And report lower job satisfaction and well-being, too. It's kind of a shocker.
Yeah, seriously, what's the thinking there?
It often comes down to how we introspect, specifically asking why. Why did I do that? Why do I feel this way? The research suggests this why question isn't very effective.
Why not?
Because apparently we don't have great access to our deeper unconscious motives. So when we ask why, we tend to just make up answers. Plausible sounding stories that feel right, but are often wrong.
Like the example of someone snapping in a meeting and thinking, oh, I'm just assertive, when really they just didn't sleep well.
Exactly that kind of thing. And we confidently believe our made-up reason. Our minds aren't great detectives for our own whys.
So if why is the problem, what's the solution? The book suggests shifting to what?
Yes. Asking what questions seems to lead to more accurate insights and practical solutions. Instead of, why am I procrastinating, ask, what are the specific steps I can take to start?
Or instead of, why did that upset me?
Mm.
Maybe, what specifically about that comment triggered that feeling?
Exactly. It shifts focus from trying to find elusive, often invented root causes to identifying concrete triggers and actions you can actually observe and work with.
Makes sense. It's more actionable.
Yeah.
The book uses those examples, Submit and Ankit.
Yeah, great examples. Submit, the unhappy software dev, shifts from why am I unhappy to what specifically don't I like and what does excite me, and finds game development.
Right.
And Ankit, the manager, moves from why is my team disengaged to what feedback can I get and what actions can I take. It's about the tangible what.
Okay, another key idea, metacognition. Bit of a mouthful. What's that about?
Yeah. Simply put, it's thinking about your thinking.
Okay.
It's being aware of your own mental processes, how you learn, how you remember things, solve problems, make decisions, and then being able to reflect on and, importantly, regulate those processes.
So like being an observer of your own mind.
Exactly. It lets you spot flawed thinking, biases, assumptions before they lead you astray. And understanding your own thinking helps you understand others better, too, increases empathy.
The book mentions two parts, monitoring and control.
Yeah. Monitoring is the awareness part, noticing your thoughts, feelings, understanding during something. Control is the action part, adjusting your strategy, focusing your attention, managing your time based on that awareness.
Like the student example, noticing the phone distraction, then choosing to put it away.
Perfect example. Monitoring the distraction, then controlling the behavior. Or in a discussion, monitoring your own rising defensiveness, then controlling your response to engage more constructively.
There's that great Feynman quote here too.
Oh yeah. The first principle is that you must not fool yourself, and you are the easiest person to fool.
That really sums it up. Metacognition is like our anti-self-fooling tool.
Pretty much. Dhiraj breaks it down further. Understanding cognition, how you think, and managing cognition, guiding it via monitoring and control. Both vital for creativity, problem solving, everything really.
But it's not like flipping a switch, right? Developing this takes effort.
Definitely not instant. It's a skill. Requires consistent practice, reminding yourself, like building any muscle.
Which leads nicely into this idea of the paradox of self-awareness, that knowing yourself is more than just looking inside.
Right. Introspection alone is like a snapshot, just one moment. But self-discovery, as Dhiraj presents it, is this ongoing movie, unfolding through life, through experiences.
He uses his own career path as an example. Planned meticulously, but then unexpected shifts happen.
Yeah, and learning came from embracing those changes, those detours. It wasn't just about the internal plan, but adapting and growing through the experience.
And it's not purely a solo journey either.
No, definitely not. It's relational too. Interactions with colleagues, team projects, shared successes, even failures. They all shape our self-awareness, especially professionally. It's about staying open, learning from the unexpected.
So what about authentic self-awareness? What does Dhiraj mean by that?
Authenticity here means embracing the whole picture. Strengths and weaknesses, accepting imperfections, understanding your unique story, how you got here.
He shares a story from high school, trying to fit in.
Yeah, and realizing later how important it is to just be yourself, quirks and all. That's where real fulfillment comes from.
The book calls it a kind of superpower.
It really can feel like that. Being authentically self-aware gives you resilience, helps you make choices aligned with your actual values, not just what you think you should value, and it helps you connect more deeply with people.
Like his example of overcoming fear of public speaking. Understanding the fear, accepting it, then practicing anyway.
Exactly. It's not about not having the fear, it's about understanding it and acting in line with your goals despite it.
And there's that connection to resisting pressure to conform. The Emerson quote.
To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Yeah, that captures it perfectly. Authentic self-awareness is empowering.
Okay, let's get practical. The book has a guide for exercising self-awareness. What are some key things?
Well, first, he really encourages journaling, taking notes, being honest with yourself, trying to observe your thoughts almost like a stranger. He says, disintegrate you from your mind.
That's an interesting phrase.
It is. It's about detachment, observation. He uses impatience as an example. Okay, you see impatience. Is it just a weakness, or does it maybe fuel action, risk-taking? Look at both sides.
And then there's that huge list of self-reflection questions.
Oh yeah, it's comprehensive, designed to really get you thinking deeply about your fears, your proudest moments, role models, major life events.
How you handle different situations, success, failure, being cheated.
How you interact with different people, family, friends, colleagues, strangers, what annoys you, what makes you happy, how you react when you lose an argument.
Some are really searching, like, am I holding on to something I need to let go of? Or what limiting beliefs am I unconsciously embracing?
Exactly. It covers self-care, patterns, values alignment, energy levels, goals, defining success for yourself, body language.
Even big life questions, overall happiness, unresolved issues, the 3 days to live question, childhood passions, legacy.
Right, potential impact, growth experiences, joy, regret, dreams. It's a real deep dive into you.
Wow. And then there's that statement, you are today exactly what you actually wanted to be. Actually. That's direct.
It is potent, isn't it? It pushes this idea of radical ownership of your current reality, connecting it to past choices, reactions, desires, maybe even unconscious ones.
But he adds a caution, right? This kind of digging can be tough.
Crucial point. He warns that self-discovery without a positive, accepting, forward-looking mindset can be, well, devastating. It has to be about growth and learning, not just finding flaws.
Shifting focus a bit, the book tackles purpose of your life. Seems essential for anyone reading this kind of book.
Yeah, it assumes you're looking for deeper meaning. He quotes Rich Sherman. The biggest threat to our well-being is the absence of moral clarity and purpose.
And uses that story. The sheep in Turkey.
Ha! Yes, the 450 sheep following each other off a cliff. A bit grim, but memorable.
Definitely memorable. What's the lesson there for purpose?
Don't just blindly follow the herd. Don't just accept societal defaults. Actively figure out your path, your purpose. Dhiraj argues having that clarity is foundational for living consciously, aligning your actions with what truly matters to you.
So how do we find it? Does the book offer steps?
It does. Practical things like mapping out your core values and beliefs, really connecting with your passions, spending time with people who inspire you.
Reading is mentioned too, as gaining experience.
Yeah, broadening perspectives, joining a community or cause you care about, finding ways to positively touch others' lives. And he stresses its dynamic purpose can evolve.
What about Manson's law of avoidance? The more something threatens your identity, the more you will avoid it. How does that fit?
Tirage uses it to highlight how we might shy away from the very things challenges uncomfortable truths that could lead us towards our purpose because they threaten our current self-image.
So we need to mindfully push past that avoidance, like the example of Seema losing her job.
Exactly. She didn't just crumble. She used it as a chance to explore what she really wanted, something more aligned with her passions. The book mentions spirituality and meditation as paths too, but really focuses on these tangible actions.
Okay, next section. Most valuable product to you. I like that framing.
It's powerful, isn't it? It starts with that affirmation. Your value doesn't decrease based on someone's inability to see your worth. Then this idea that we're always, in a sense, selling ourselves, and we are the most valuable product.
And step one for selling anything valuable is knowing the product inside out.
Precisely. Deep, honest self-understanding comes first. He emphasizes you are not your mind, learning to separate your true self from the mental noise.
And then actively using what you discover about yourself.
Yes, how to use the self-discovery outcome. Using those insights to guide your choices, live more authentically, build genuine connections.
And this idea of a personal product vision and mission.
Yeah, like a guiding framework for yourself. But, and this is important, it's not rigid. It has to be fluid, evolving as you grow. Keep revisiting it. The goal is to extract your core values, beliefs, real strengths from your self-discovery and own them. Take responsibility.
Which logically flows into branding and marketing you. If you are this valuable product, how do you present that effectively?
Right. Why wouldn't you? Like an unbranded product on a shelf, your value might get overlooked if you don't present it clearly. But, and this is key, personal branding here isn't about fakeness. It's about authentic representation.
And he gives us the BLACCC principles for this.
Yep, a handy acronym. Be yourself, authenticity is your unique selling point. Leave a legacy, create value people can see. Authentic, be original, trustworthy. Clarity, know and communicate who you are. Consistency in your message, quality, values, and constancy, unwavering commitment to your principles.
BLACCC. That's a solid framework.
That's it.
So if you're the product, who are the customers, the next section says most valuable customers, PE Peel.
Exactly. The people in your life, your network, directly or indirectly. He makes this point that your growth is tied to the positive influence you have on others.
So it's about evaluating your relationships, finding ways to genuinely add value, not just being a people pleaser.
Definitely not just pleasing. It's about showing your skills, your unique contribution, having a positive attitude. And understanding others, their mindsets, behaviors is crucial for building those strong relationships.
Yeah.
He talks about his own interview struggles.
Until he understood the interviewer's perspective.
Right. Understanding their mindset changed everything. Being mindful in conversations helps you pick up on those cues about others.
And it mentions controlling your own words and actions and appreciating others.
Yes, conscious communication and genuine validation go a long way in building those valuable connections.
Okay, so pulling it all together, how do we practically apply this personal branding and marketing based on self-discovery?
The book lists actionable steps. Craft your personal narrative based on your discoveries. Make sure your brand aligns with your real values. Highlight your actual strengths and passions.
Engage authentically. Use visuals if it helps. Be consistent everywhere.
Right. Show how you've grown, don't hide it. And always aim to provide value to your network. It also covers the practicalities, strong online presence, engaging actively, showcasing yourself confidently, maybe using testimonials, and always improving communication skills.
It's about creating an intentional, authentic, impactful presence.
That's it, exactly. A presence that reflects your true discovered value.
The book also lists some specific tools to aid self-discovery. What are those?
Things like mindfulness, just being present. Being observant without prejudice, like a neutral witness. Believing in karma in the sense that the energy you emit matters.
Manifesting.
Yeah.
Focusing on strengths.
Yeah, manifesting your desired life through intention. Focusing on strengths while being aware of weaknesses, that yin-yang balance. Practicing gratitude is a big one. And spending time in silence, maybe meditating, creating that inner sanctuary for reflection.
Those sound like ongoing practices, really valuable. And finally, the payoff. Self-discovery impact benefits. What does Dhiraj say we gain?
A whole range of things. Feeling more fulfilled, taking ownership, actually falling in love with yourself, flaws and all. Better, more genuine relationships because you understand yourself and others better.
More creativity. Less self-criticism.
Yes, creativity flows when you're aligned with passions. Less self-criticism comes with self-acceptance. Better leadership skills. Authenticity builds trust. more self-confidence based on knowing your strengths and values.
Better self-control, more empathy.
Exactly. Better self-control because your actions align with your values. And improved empathy from understanding the human experience, starting with your own.
Wow. It really sounds like Magic of Discovering Yourself provides a very thorough, practical, and potentially transformative roadmap.
I think so. Dhiraj Kumar Gupta really offers a blend of deep concepts and actionable advice. It's a guide to knowing yourself, finding purpose, and then sharing that authentic self effectively. It puts you in the driver's seat of your own growth.
Well, that brings us to the end of this particular deep dive into Dhiraj Kumar Gupta's Magic of Discovering Yourself. We really hope this gave you a useful shortcut to the book's core ideas and maybe spark some thinking for your own journey.
Yeah, it's definitely been insightful exploring these concepts, self-awareness, purpose, authenticity. If this resonated, we definitely recommend checking out Dhiraj's book for the full experience.
Absolutely. So, as a final thought to leave you with, building on the book's themes, take a moment to consider your own path of self-discovery. Is there an area, maybe a question from that list, or a type of feedback that you've perhaps been avoiding or just overlooking?
Yeah, think about what might happen if you consciously decided to engage with that specific area. What unexpected growth, what deeper understanding of who you are and what you can achieve might be waiting there for you.